What's going on YouTube, EDC and knife community? The Roving Ronin here, and welcome to episode number 9. Alright, well, we're going to try something new here. I'm going to start doing 1v1 segments. Today, we're going to be talking about some heavy use EDC. But before I get started, let me just give a quick shout out to the good folks at Bastion Essentials and Bastion Pens. They saw the channel. They liked what they saw, and they were really good enough to send me this great stainless steel bolt action pen. I'm really into EDC pens. Actually was on their site recently, and what I'll do is I'll link it down below for you. It's www.bastiongear.com. If you're into pens, you know, if you're in EDC, if you're carrying it for that reason, or you're just into pens in general, you got to check them out. This is a really great website. They have just reams and reams of pens. Stainless steel, I know they have aluminum, copper, brass, titanium. Great. I'm pretty sure they have double click pens too, but I know they have a lot of bolt action. They have mechanical pencils, and I'm pretty sure they have precision cutting tools too, but there's just no shortage of pens. So again, www.bastiongear.com, and check them out. They've been really good to us, and we'd like to support them. So let me move this on now and get back into the idea of this segment. Alright guys, so here's what I wanted to do. Not necessarily a comparison. This isn't a, one knife better than the other comparison, or a, which is the superior EDC carry. No, this is really more open to what you guys think. I wanted to cover a segment. Since the first one, I haven't really heard from the community or anybody watching with some ideas yet. So for the first one, I decided to go with a little bit of a heavier carry EDC. And the two knives I chose are, I also wanted to pick two knives that are not, I don't want to say easy to get, because I do know one of them at this time can be a little bit difficult, but they are available in certain spots. You might want to check some of the bigger name retailers out there. Also, and I would be remiss if I didn't do this, if any of you guys follow me and you know that I'm a big fan of JT's Knife Shop in Port Jervis, New York. JT's is actually one of the supporters of this channel, and we do a lot of on-location stuff at JT's. I do know that JT has some Adamas's in stock. He gets the whole gambit too, the large, the mini, the full size, and the autos. You can check him out also at www.jtknives.com, or you can give him a call at 877-364-9114. It's toll free. Give him a call and see what they got. But between these two knives, they're both available. They're both pretty common in EDC carry, so I didn't want to put one up here that was unattainable or out of reach. These are also both in a, not necessarily a budget category either, but we will get to that. I'm going to have segments where I'm going to do budget EDCs, smaller use EDCs, things like that. So for this purpose, I wanted to get one that everybody had some access to. Starting out, let's introduce the knives. First up, of course, and this is the one that can be difficult at times, but I'm fairly certain that these are available pretty widely right now, and that, of course, is the Spyderco Shaman. Now, this is a basic Shaman. I have not modded this yet. I plan to at some point in the future, but for the purposes of this is just a basic S30V Shaman. Now, again, when it comes to comparisons here, there are some differences. We'll get to what they are in a second, right? But for the most part, this is just a really basic Shaman. For those of you familiar with the Shaman, this is, for the most part, the heaviest use folder. That could be argued that Spyderco makes. That's just going solely by my opinion. But it is a commonly used folder for heavy EDC use. Next up is the Benchmade Mini Adamas. This one, again, this is all unmodified green G10. Got the OD DLC coating on it. Now, the biggest difference with these two right off the bat is the knife steel. The Adamas is crew wear, which is a heavier use quasi-military grade steel. It's got a reputation, better edge retention, and is tougher than the S30, although it's not a stainless steel, thus the DLC coating on it. There is a coating too. Now, there are some corrosion issues with S30 from time to time, but for the most part, it's generally a little bit more corrosive resistant. But between the two, and if it was a knife steel issue and you were going heavy use, I would, giving recommendations, I would probably steer you toward the Adamas, simply because the toughness factor on it is going to be considerably higher than the S30. But the Shaman, and this, really harkens back to what makes Spyder go who they are, right? It's in that grind, that flat grind. If you've ever used the Shaman, what it always reminded me of, it's got that flat, slicey, grindy blade geometry that makes Spyderco's, so great. But just the blade thickness on it, it's unusual. If you're used to Spyderco's like me, I was a big PM2, PM3 guy, and that's the first thing that jumped out at me, was just the girth of this when I first got it. And I got to be honest with you, when you hold the two knives, I mean, they're really close in size. I know there's slight differences in the two of them, but you feel more like you have a heavy use knife in your hand when you're handling the Shaman. Just to give some size comparisons here, so we can get a better idea, we'll compare the Shaman with some knives from Spyderco. Here it is up against the PM3, and up against my newly modded PM2, which, get the combat bead out of the way there. And you can see right off the bat just the profile. I know this angle might not be the best, but just the profile overall, and you can see it with the blade too. I'll use the PM2 as an example. It's just got a chunkier overall feel to it. Alright, just to give a little carry comparison to you, judgment thickness. Actually, you know what? That's going to be a bad comparison because I changed the scales on that one. So let's do it with the PM3. See if I can get it as well focused as I can. You can see the Shaman's, it's a bit of a wider knife. Let's get some specs on it. Break out the trusty tape measure. And let's see what we got here. Alright, so for the Shaman overall, to the team, we are coming in, I want to say a 8.25 overall. Blade length on this, no, 3.6, maybe a hair under. I'm going to put that, because of that choil up here, I'm going to put that cutting edge shorter. That's going to come in at 3.1, just a hair over, like 3.10. So you're getting a lot of blade on the Shaman. Now overall, the weight, I don't have a scale yet, but I happen to know the weight on this is about 5.2 ounces overall. So it does have some more weight, certainly, than your average certainly than your average like PM2 or PM3. And that's really, it's a lot of the aesthetic of this knife lends to why it's such a great heavy use knife. You know, there's really no substitute for that feeling of just getting that good, thick, solid knife in your hand. And hey, it's the reason that this thing is so popular and the reason they are so hard to come by. This one I actually got as a Christmas gift, and it was not easy to get. It really wasn't. There was a time when, and a lot of it had to do with new scales that people were putting out for the shamans, where they were just disappearing, you know. And the same can be said for the counterpart to this knife in this episode, and that is the Mini Adamas. The Adamas was really popular when it came out. For those of you not familiar, the Adamas, this is a new version. It's a remake from Benchmade's older Adamas. For those of you who remember, the older Adamas had, I don't believe they made a Mini. You can correct me on that in the comments. I'm fairly certain they had just the full-size Adamas and possibly an auto. You know, that's something Benchmade does with a lot of them. The new Adamas, they kept a lot of that same Siebert blade geometry in there that just makes it what it is. But in order to save weight, the aluminum handles are gone now, and you've got these really great contoured G10. You know, and I'm picky with G10. Really boxy G10, it's just not my favorite. And not that I have anything wrong with the materials, but when you don't contour it, it's just sort of uncomfortable. The contouring on this is absolutely, I don't know if you could see the angle on it, but it's just got this gentle contour that fits in your hand really well. And you know, when these came out, this was the next big thing. As a matter of fact, coming up really soon, I'm not going to spoil what it's going to be, but I'm going to be doing a release of, or actually just a preview and unboxing of a brand new Benchmade release that, from the looks of it, is going to be really big. But, you know, back to the Adamas, the weight saving, the contouring, it just feels a lot more comfortable than the original Adamas. And hey, you know, that's the point, right? You know, you come out with a knife that's got some popularity, you find out what the quirks and the complaints were about it, and then you just proceed to making it better, and they hit it out of the park. And it's because you've got that contouring on there, that great grip on it. This too, it's one of those knives you just know. You don't need to be told. If you were blindfolded and someone gave it to you, you can tell this is a hard use knife. And they upped the steel. If I'm not mistaken, the first Adamases were probably D2. You know, we lose sight of the fact when we see D2 now in the budget world that D2 was, you know, the super metal of its day. So this is a big jump up, but it makes sense for something that's a tough, hard use knife made by a tough use hard knife designer. Crewwear just lends itself great to that, and it's become popular. I know Spyderco is starting to use a lot of it. You're seeing it pop up. But these are the two. So let's get some size comparisons with this. And just to make this easier, I'm going to go with another iconic Benchmade. I'll put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian. And the full-size grip actually comes in, I'm going to say almost about the same size, is slightly larger. And it's got that fuller handle geometry. So let's get some measurements on this. Mini Adamas. On the overall length, excuse me, did that one without cutting myself this time. That's coming in at about 7.6. Maybe a hair over. On the blade length, this one is coming in, I know it, I've just never actually math, 3.25. Exactly right. That edge is going to come in just a little bit shorter. And that's coming in at 3.18 overall. So it's a good ratios on both these knives, and again, that's what lends itself so much to the hard use feel of it. You know, you've got that good amount of handle that fills your hand, and yeah, absolutely loving it. Now, of course, like I said, two completely different knives. You know, the Adamas is not the knife, hard use or not, that's going to lend itself to a day of cutting cardboard, you know, or just slicey types of jobs. I mean, that's going to be a job much better served, obviously, by the Adamas. Spyderco's, look, that's their comfort zone, and that's where they're operating well. Not to say you're not going to find other uses for it here and there, but that's really where you want to find yourself using it. Whereas the Adamas, this is something, you know, if you're a guy cutting straps on pallets, this is your knife. You got that tough, not really have to worry about wearing out the blade feel to it, and that hard, good pull usage. But as I said, it's not a which one is better, right? For the most part, this is just a chance to get you guys to chime in with your opinions. You know, if you want, we'll add up the pros and cons, or the Team Shaman and Team Mini Adamas comments up there, and see if we can work out a winner later on. But as of right now, two really popular hard use folders, both of which are available. As I said, I'm going to put some links down below so you guys can, if you have any interest in them, you can find them. But for the most part, this is our first side-by-side segment, or 1v1 segment. I really haven't decided on what to call it yet, but we want to hear from you guys. You know, in the future, I want to come up with some categories, but I'd rather it be categories you guys are interested in. So let me know. I want to cover a budget category. I want to cover an auto category. So let me know some things you'd want to see. And as always, what I want most of all here is your view on it. What do you think? Also, some ideas, knives you want to see in the future. We keep saying this here. One of the most important things we want to do with this channel is make it community driven. Knives you guys want to see, gear you guys want to see. I can tell you for upcoming episodes, we're going to be doing another on location sometime this week, doing a review of a very new and looking to be very popular Benchmade that just came out. I'll leave the suspense for future episodes. But leave some comments below. Let us know what you think and your opinions on hard use folders, as well as some ideas for 1v1 episodes coming up in the future. Guys, thanks so much. Thanks always for supporting the channel. If you liked everything you saw, please go down and smash that like and subscribe button. Gives us a chance to hear from you, get some new content, and let you know what we got coming up. Also, don't forget to follow me at Bill's EDC _life on Instagram. Again, that's Bill's EDC _life. And smash that like and subscribe button. As always, guys, be good, be safe, and stay sharp.